I actually have a 32-inch waist. No cap. Do a 4-hour streak, little bro. I don't work tomorrow. 4-hour streak. I'm not going to do a 4-hour streak. Just play in the chat like a fiddle. That's how easy it is to play you lot, I tell you. I used to wear a 32-inch waist. People forget, man. They do. Stop lying. I have 36 smallest. Oh, sorry, guys. It's the truth. I used to fit into a 32-inch waist, I tell you. Now, yes, I was 12, but come on. Thank you for the $5. Chad Volta Walker is going to make Soy Aspinall tap. People forget, man. Aspinall got submitted with a leg lock that one time like 8 years ago or something. True. Therefore, it will happen again, even though it couldn't happen to Lucas Bursky, of course. Thank you for the membership, Jack Evans. I appreciate the membership, brother. Now he's paying monthly now. This is the thing. This is how quickly you can spiral into just emptying your wealth at me. You know what I mean? This is stage one. He's hooked. You know what I mean? This is the problem. True. We do. Why does it always look like you are wearing old raggedy clothes? I am wearing old raggedy clothes. I don't clothes shop. Half of my wardrobe has been paid for by my nan on Christmas. It's cheat code of life. I'm not even kidding. Half of my wardrobe as it stands right now. Other than what I brought to go to South Africa last year, half of my wardrobe is stuff my nana's got me. I'm not even joshing you either. Thank you very much for the $5, Javier Gomez. The fact that the people... You crush any top Welsh... I've already read this. You checking McGregor's early life? No, I wasn't checking McGregor's early life on Wikipedia. Give us a hint on who the next person on your podcast is. And have you tried to get Chael? I haven't really tried to get anyone. Chat, you know what? I don't really like push to get someone on. I just wait for them to like naturally interact with me and then I kind of turn it into a podcast thing. Like, Drick has just randomly messaged me once. Same with, I don't know if it was, no, I think I messaged Jamal Hill, but that was after he shouted me out on his YouTube channel. Moicano shouted me out in the UFC octagon. So it was like, you know, I like to let it naturally happen. I don't just like, well, the fights are coming up. I've got to get an interview, you know. Thank you for the £2. Jack Evans. Guru salty that chat loves us. Okay, thank you for the £2. You guys got to start getting fights and winning because it's dangerous. Do you find it weird that someone like Ariel actually watches MMA? Sometimes I feel like he doesn't. Like, chat, have you ever seen a reaction from Ariel to a KO? When you really think back in your mind about all of the content about Ariel that you've seen, have you ever seen him like, oh my fucking God? Does that exist? I feel like I've never seen that. I've never seen him react hype to a win that happens. He doesn't do live companions. Yeah, but even just like a big fight moment, just keeping a camera on you as like an analyst of the sport. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. He was hype after Usman versus Leon. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But it's a pretty big deal. People forget, man. Guru's unmuted. Lord of the Rings singing. I know. Shut up. Do a bear takedown vid for the community. I kind of already did. I'm not going to harp on it. Can you do a good Yuri impression? You have to have mastery, you know, to be the strongest. This is the way. Let's go for that. Have you given more thought to it? An in-person comedy show? I mean, I've given some thought to an in-person comedy. No, I'm not doing an in-person comedy show. Ugh, that just is cringe to me. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that. Maybe though. To be honest with you, I just got invited to a family event and now I'm stressing and I don't want to look at my phone in case they see that I've read it. I'm panicking now. I'm actually really stressed right now, chat. I got invited to a family event and now I'm fucking panicking, thinking of an excuse not to go. I hate that as well because people like message me and I'm like already ignoring someone on a message. So I can't go on it. Otherwise they'll see that I'm ignoring them. It's just, ugh. You know what I mean? It's yucky. But I'll be all right. Just a bit stressed. We're good. Impressed. Good joke, though. I get it. Shout out to my wife, Maya. Mexicans love you. They do. Most of my fan base is Mexicans. I've got a 40% Hispanic fan base. 40% of my fans. You guys are acting like a picture of me and DDP doesn't exist. You know? That's a real picture, guys. Come on. You going to KO DJ sitting in your wheelchair? No, I'm not going to KO DJ sitting in my wheelchair. I might rock up in person in a wheelchair, though. You can't jump a guy for talking shit online if he's in a wheelchair. In a way. You know? You can't do that. So I might actually rock up to UFC London in a wheelchair. And then someone can like fake heal me when like Aspinall Jones gets signed on the night, you know? And I'll raise up out of the chair. Like the Lord's flowing through me. Thank you for the £50 though, man. I appreciate the extra 50 just in case you didn't donate enough before. What's the announcement? Did I miss something? Just a heads up though, Robert Bell, I do appreciate your donations all the time, but if this is some elaborate plan to where one day we're going to be friends, I want to stop you there. Okay. No offense. No offense. I just don't want you to be donating it and thinking there's this huge payoff for you, Robert Bell. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate it nevertheless. But, you know, I don't want you running your account down. You know what I mean? But if you're just a millionaire that wants to give 50 quid now and again, then I don't mind. But I do worry sometimes when people donate a large amount that there's some expectation, you know? It makes me feel bad. It gives me guilt. What's the announcement? Did I miss something? No, they're going to announce it soon. Dana White's going to announce it soon. And now chat's going to revolt against you. It's all good. Yeah, I know, Robert Bell. You don't expect it, but, you know, I just don't want there to be that expectation. I had the same thing with another guy who was donating like crazy before he eventually started fucking asking for things. I was like, this is why, you know? A tipless kitchen knife. Yeah. South Carolina welcomes you. Nice. Impression of Guru on an apology vid after. Why don't you just sign up to a local MMA gym and just train? What if I told you, chat, that I've been doing that for the past few years? Try jump me in person, I beg of you. What if I told you that that's what I've secretly been doing this whole time? You imagine? You imagine someone tries to press me and I fucking ragdoll them in public? Look at you. All right, guys. Thank you for the $5. You could like pretend to believe it.
Love gloves.
Okay. I don't know much about this, but this article is about Dan Cormier and Chael Sonnen.
MMA Guru's been
MMA Guru.
fucking cooking lately, man.
He's always been popping up like crazy.
He's been popping up, but now he's cooking because he's getting a response back from like network guys, you know, like DC and Chael. Like he's getting their attention.
He said something's going to happen with John Jones. Remember, like news coming out, whatever. Yeah.
No, he's cooking. Proud of him. Let's see. What's this? The most polarizing, controversial YouTube content creator, MMA Guru's post on X over USA wrestling credentials get attention from UFC legends DC and Chael Sonnen. Of course, two guys that fucking die by the sword with wrestling. At UFC 312 co-main event, current strawweight Zhang Weili defeated Tatiana Suarez via unanimous decision, displaying total domination inside the octagon. What made this fight more interesting is Weili being a plus 240 underdog against Suarez. Because Tatiana's wrestling accolades, many believe that her path to victory would be untroubled. Yeah, although she was unproven, but yes. However, Zhang defeated 14 out of 15 takedowns, even cracked her opponent on the feet, proving every doubter wrong for picking against her. Yeah, that sucked. After Weili's victory, popular content creator MMA Guru, who has a massive fan base following and is known for being a harsh critic, or just telling the truth, put out a post on social media platforms, mentioned he's not mentions he's not going to trust USA wrestling credentials anymore. He also called out UFC legends DC and Chael Sonnen, both renowned for having wrestling backgrounds, for gaslighting him into believing that wrestlers are nothing but monsters in MMA. On a recent episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy, DC Chael Sonnen addressed the issue, which they sort of had a disagreement over MMA Guru's post. In the UFC right now, this is Chael Sonnen talking. In the UFC right now, we don't have an NCAA wrestler in heavyweight class. I didn't say an Olympian. I didn't say gold medalist. I didn't say an All-American. We don't have a heavyweight. When Stipe retired, who didn't really use his wrestling, but he did against Francis. But when Stipe retired, that was the last of the heavyweights. Prior to that, there was a guy named DC. We don't have a single NCAA wrestler, not just in the top 10, not in the top 15. We don't have one under contract in the UFC. Okay. So then he goes on to say top wrestlers in America like Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Dake, David Taylor could have entered the UFC, but they didn't choose to do so because they recognize MMA is a complete sport. Only wrestling is not enough for surviving the octagon. Correct. Chael goes on to say, it's such a complete style now. It's not something you can get through college and picking up some boxing lessons on the side and you're good enough to for the octagon. Yep. True at some point. But if Guru was arguing about these hard, gritty, tough wrestlers isn't enough, he wins this argument. Agree with Chael. 100%. Yeah, the game's moved on so much where you can't just have a strong wrestling foundation and take over the UFC. 8-10 years ago, that's all you needed. But guys are so good now. They're good with their cage takedown defense. They're good with their footwork, avoiding the takedowns. You can't. That's a good thing, by the way. It means the sport's evolving. So then DC goes on to say, he's wrong, Chael. Just because the best guys aren't coming anymore doesn't mean that wrestling doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. That's not the argument. The argument is it's not enough just to win fights anymore. It's just not. A certain level, like maybe all the way up to Contender Series, when you get to you could probably get away with some wrestling. You're not going to get signed if you're boring, if you don't get finishes. But when you get to the UFC, it's just not enough. There's no way. You can't. You just can't this day and age. We're still living in a world where John Jones' background is wrestling. Yeah. Sure, he was a junior college national champion, but he's a wrestler. At 135, Islam Makhachev back. Well, Islam's not 135, but he probably means 155. At 135, or maybe that's a mistake by the people who are translating this. Islam Makhachev's background is combat, sambo. What else? Wrestling. Ilya Tapora's background is wrestling. These guys are wrestlers. Hey, those are the guys Brian was sucking off, the Iowa boys. Those guys are really good coaches. They taught Whaley how to wrestle offensively. That's the key, Chael. I had a crazy argument with Michael Bisping about this the other day. I believe if you want to wrestle effectively inside that gun, you got to learn how to actually wrestle. Zhang Weilei is learning wrestling, not just MMA wrestling. I disagree. I think MMA Guru is wrong. Sure, Tatiana struggled, but again, there were some simple things she could have done to change what happened. Disagree. She kept shooting double legs. You cannot shoot double legs anymore. You can if you set it up. You can if you have the striking, get the respect to set it up. When all you have is a double leg, you can't just shoot double legs. You have to set it up because people are good at defending double legs. Whether they're NCAA wrestlers or not, the sport's evolved. We can't just straight up shoot double legs and expect success. You got to shoot double legs and switch off to single leg if you want to take people down. Or you got to have overall good skills where you can chain wrestle, but you're still shooting a double leg based off a jab via GSP, stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, I'd say MMA Guru won that argument. Chael co-signed on it. But he's right. I think sometimes we see it even with Bo Nickel, who basically won the Heisman of college wrestling. Like, if his striking doesn't evolve, he won't be a champion. He won't. You can't. You just can't. You have to be pretty well-rounded. Now, you don't have to be a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, world champion kickboxer, world champion boxer, world champion wrestler. We don't need all that. But you have to at least have two of the four. You have to have really good striking, and then if you have decent takedown defense, you can be successful. You know? But if all you can do is wrestle, no. Now, I will say this to defend DC. If I had to pick one discipline where you're dominant in to have success in the UFC, it'd be wrestling, meaning that's your base.
He just wanted to promote his own thing. How happy do you think Flukas Tracy is about the Volk news right now? Very happy, I imagine. Very happy. Holloway versus Grant Dawson as a fight night. Don't ever speak again. People forget. You know what? Holloway Moicano. Who wants to see Holloway versus Moicano? Honestly, I don't see much else. Give me Holloway Moik. I like Holloway Moik. What else? What else is there at lightweight right now? That's kind of the only thing that makes sense, unless you want to do Holloway Fiziev. Holloway don't deserve Oliveira or Arman. He just doesn't. So he's going to have to fight someone lower than that. Do one of those fights. People forget, man. Do they still use steel tie cups? Apparently they do, Joe Rogan. Peasley and bounces. I could see that, true. I could see a slam KO. Volk, I was actually thinking that when it got announced, and we spoke about that before. Volk versus Lopez has more favorable than Tapu. Yeah. Diego Lopez by KO in the second round. I think Lopez finishes him early. We'll see. Maybe Ilya versus Poirier and Charles versus Holloway, or they switch Poirier and Charles. Who knows? I think the best thing to do is Poirier Ilya. And what Holloway does not get a top contender. Oliveira, Sarukian 2, run it back 5 rounds, and then do Ilya versus Poirier as well. Refresh the stream, y'all. It fixes the audio. Yeah, the audio will be fixed if you refresh the stream. Will you ever do your